Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to you all to this morning's Power Talk, in which we're going to be focusing on the Encore HPS range. So I think this is one we're quite excited about because there's a lot of awesome features and use cases for this particular product. So we're excited to share a little bit more information with all of you about this range. Today I've got the pleasure of having our project manager, Warren, join us. Welcome, Warren.
Hi, everybody, and glad to be here, Charl.
I believe you spent quite a bit of time with these inverters on site, so you're the right person for this call.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's a really good product that we have on our hands here.
Excellent, excellent. So for those of you who haven't joined one of our Power Talks before, just a little bit about Freedom One. So Freedom One is Africa's largest and oldest manufacturer of lithium iron phosphate batteries. We've been around since 2012, but in actual fact, our founder actually started researching lithium iron phosphate technology as far back as 2004. So as things currently stand, we're currently headquartered in Johannesburg, in Longmeadow Business Estate. We currently occupy a 48,000 meter squared facility, which allows us to produce 3,500 megawatt hours per annum. We've got 11 unique product ranges. So if you join some of the other Power Talks, you'll see we've got everything from residential applications all the way up to utility scale applications. We therefore manufactured a large scale amount of units on an annual basis, and we've got a sizable workforce to help us do that. And that obviously then covers not just the manufacturing, but also things like after sales support, the engineers, the project team, etc. So without any further ado, Warren, could you tell us a little bit more about the Encore HPS range?
Yeah, thanks, Charl. So as Charl mentioned, I work with the larger scale projects here at Freedom One, and that incorporates these prestigious inverters. The Encore HPS range is it's a hybrid inverter range. We have different variants of these inverters. It ranges from 50 kilowatts up until 500 kilowatts. So we've specifically integrated it with our batteries, and so that the communication is stable and functional, and we're able to give you a good design for which provides durability and reliability for our best systems. So these inverters come with a 3-year warranty, and we're able to extend it up until 10 years. And with these solutions, what's so great about it is that we can integrate solar and battery power. This is just to reduce grid dependence, basically. And I think it's stated here on the slide. We try to give energy solutions, backup solutions, and just to minimize energy loss to your operation. So some of the standout features here on our Encore HPS range is it supports PV, DC and AC. We'll get more into that a bit later, as well as it can couple diesel gens as well as our battery power with grid as well as a last resort. It has seamless transition with our contactors that we incorporate into the design of this HPS. It has a built-in transformer, isolation transformer, as well as a bypass, which is built in there. This obviously just gives us a smaller footprint for the amount of cabinets we're putting into a container or on site. So you're able to just put down one container, and if you want PV, you're able to add on different containers. So the modularity of this Encore HPS is that we can parallel up to 4 units. So giving us about 2 megawatts if you're paralleling our HPS 500. The communication is robust. It's much easier than a lot of other products on the market. It uses RS-485 and TCP/IP. It has a built-in online monitoring device, and Charl will get more into that further on in the webinar, as well as we have a bunch of certification that comes with this range.
Awesome, thanks, Warren. And something that I've noticed when you're building up some of your containerized systems is that whereas with some of the other commercial brands that you've worked with before, With the Encore HPS range, you're actually able to mount or let's say place the Encore HPS inverters against the walls inside a container, as opposed to in the middle of the container, which is what you previously had to do. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and why that's possible?
Yeah, that's a good spot, Charl. Actually, so this actually gives us a lot more room to play with in the container, where we can actually place the inverter against the wall. We've obviously designed the containers around this inverter, so we actually have an access door which opens up to access the back of the inverter. In the case of maintenance and repairs, you'll be able to access it. But also with this range, we've also designed a special extraction hood, which uses gravity dampers, and we able to extract hot air out of the inverter and out of the container, and extract it out the container so that we maintain a temperature inside the container which is suitable for the inverter.
Awesome. Thanks, Warren. So even as someone who's not as technical as Warren, it's for me, it's pretty easy to understand the range. So as we briefly touched on, the HPS range consists of a 50 kilowatt option all the way up to a 500 kilowatt option. Now, there are a few differences when it comes to your MPPT charge controllers as to where they are actually mounted inside the unit or with the unit. So on the Encore HPS 50, 100 and 150, you actually have some slots inside those inverters to mount your MPPT charge controllers. For the HPS 250 and the HPS 500, those are obviously slightly larger inverter options. For them, we then require an additional or dedicated charge controller cabinet. So on the topic of the MPPT charge controllers, these are 55 kilowatt modular units. With regard to the cabinets, each cabinet can take up to 6 MPPT charge controllers per cabinet. And as I previously touched on, that's only applicable to the HPS 250 and the HPS 500, as the other options allow you to slot the MPPT charge controllers directly into the units. We then also got some Freedom One PV combiner boxes, which complement the system. Warren, could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so we've designed PV combiner boxes to specifically pair with these MPPT cabinets. So just for example, we have 6 MPPTs in an MPPT cabinet. You'll require 48 string PV combiner. So we provide 8 strings per output of our MPPT, per output on our PV combiner box. If you have 5 MPPTs, you'll have a 40 string combiner which pairs with that, and so forth. For a 4 MPPT system, you'll have 32 strings. So you'll see there's a table there which I will explain now.
Yeah, so the table basically just shows you the maximum number of MPPTs that you can add to each inverter. The beauty of the system with it being modular is that you can select exactly how many you require. Perhaps you don't require any at all if you're going with like an AC coupled system, because in that case you'd be pairing with third-party grid tie inverters. But that modularity is really, really great, when speccing your system to your exact requirements.
Yeah, and just to add on that, Shawl, on the PV combiner box, I mean, we've got type 1 and type 2 SPDs in there. We've got fuses, so there's a lot of built-in protection in those PV combiners, which are industry standard when it comes to PV combiner boxes.
Definitely. From what I've seen and what I understand, it's definitely a more premium option, which you guys have put a lot of thought and time into.
Yeah, we've actually designed it to maximize the amount of solar you can add to your BESS system.
Makes sense.
All right, so I'll just move over to the Encore HPS topology. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory here. We've got our AC coupled solar on the bottom right here with our PV inverter. You're able to couple AC to your load, AC solar to your load, as well as PV DC into your MPPTs. You have grid there as well as a generator which incorporates into your bypass switch, your internal bypass switch and the inverter, as well as a battery input. Each of these have their own isolation breaker, which is already in the inverter, and then the automatic switching takes place with the contactors inside the inverter. So, sorry, just to add on that, we have our own online monitoring, which comes
That's exactly what I was going to
in the
ask.
inverter. Yeah, so that's a nice feature that you have real-time monitoring of these inverters, which is you're able to see online. Obviously, there's no control, but Shaw will get more into the control side a bit later on in the webinar. So just on the block diagram, this is just a basic block diagram of how the inverter works. I mean, it's similar for all inverters. And you'll see on the left there's PV input, and then you have your DC filters, and then it connects to your MPPT modules, which connects to your DC bus, and your DC bus also obviously has input for your batteries, and therefore thereafter you have your input for your load as well as your input for your grid. So yeah, just a basic overview of that.
Thank you. So more or less the same as any other commercial system. So
Yeah,
if someone has worked with other commercial inverters before, it's not going to be that much different when working with the Encore HPS.
correct.
Cool. And then we have the Freedom One EMS, which is an awesome add-on to the system. So as Warren mentioned, the Encore HPS inverters come standard with monitoring capabilities. But when you add an EMS to the system, that then steps it up to much more in-depth monitoring capabilities, but most importantly, also control and management capabilities. So taking a look at the Freedom One EMS, just at a glance, the system basically comprises of a single hardware panel. So we've got one standardized enclosure with built-in comms, surge protection, and backup power. And that's a standard option. It's the only option that we now have. But where we allow quite a bit of flexibility is on the software licensing side, where, from our learnings in the industry, we've come to realize that you can't have a one-size-fits-all when it comes to an EMS, because each and every single site or application is different. So what we've done is we've developed three different software bundles, primarily the Essential, the Pro, and the Ultra packages, which will have different combinations of digital modules and capabilities, which you can select depending on, for instance, the number of inverters you want to parallel, how many tags you want, which will allow you to view different data metrics and so forth. And then, of course, you can also add on additional tags if need be, whereby we give you the ability to choose either a 1-year or 5-year license. On the digital module side, there are also additional add-ons such as DNP3, which is required, in Cape Town, for instance, an external data provider with read and write capabilities. So that would enable you to integrate your EMS with a building management system, as well as modules that will allow you to integrate with RTF, the CAB 1000, and so forth. So quite a bit there, which you can essentially just build to give you the solution that you require. In terms of the key features, the beautiful thing about the Freedom One EMS is it's device agnostic. So not only can you integrate, can it be integrated with your Freedom One battery and your Encore HPS inverter, but also third-party components such as third-party grid tie inverters, generators, power meters, etc. You can have various monitors and probes monitoring things like temperatures. If you want to know your container door has been left open, for instance, we can do that. So there's a lot we can really do with this solution. In terms of the deployment, it is very fast. Obviously, there's a bit of planning that needs to happen before we get to that point. And if you want any information on that, then please just reach out to us. We'll be happy to walk you through the process. But essentially, once we're ready to go, the system is pre-wired. There's no code set up, and with the support of Freedom One, we can commission the system relatively quickly. At that point, you then have your full remote control and monitoring capabilities. So from a single pane of glass, you can view and manage every single component in that system. We've got parallel inverter and BESS support, so it handles isolated DC bus systems and hybridized setups. We've then got smart automation, which facilitates features such as, or functions such as load shifting, energy arbitrage, peak shaving, generator sync, and PV cooperation. So, for me, this is one of the biggest standout features, because this is where the real value comes through from using an EMS, where you can empower your customer to save a lot of money at the end of the day. You know, whether they're trying to utilize battery energy that's been stored at off-peak times, you know, avoid maximum demand charges. You know, this is where the magic happens with EMS. And then, you know, as for the actual hardware panel, the EMS hardware panel, it is an industrial grade solution, so it's IP65 rated in a steel housing with built-in isolation and failover logic. So yeah, as I mentioned, if this is something you want to find out more information about, please reach out to Freedom One directly, because it really is a tailored solution. We need to understand exactly what you want to do so we can help you identify what is the correct EMS bundle for you.
Yeah, so we'll move over to the battery compatibility. So we've just put a matrix in here to basically explain which batteries are compatible with which inverters. I mean, if it's pretty easy to read, but if you go down on the HPS 50, you'll see the ticks mean that it's compatible with that battery. So from the HPS 50 to the HPS 150, it's usually compatible with our HV batteries. So the HPS 150 is with a bit with our bigger batteries, but the HPS 250 and 500 are compatible with our HV Plus batteries. So yeah, just more on that on our, and you'll see at the top there we have our VOC for our MPPTs. That's just an explanation of usually our HV batteries need a buck system for our MPPTs, and our HV Plus batteries need a boost MPPT system. This is just due to the voltage ranges that that the batteries come with, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I see this as a nice breakdown of you know, the HPS range's compatibility with the light range of Freedom One batteries, but it's also good to note that we do have compatibility with the Freedom One Mega Tower Plus range as well.
Correct.
But no, this is really awesome. Obviously, best practice is to always check the spec sheets of the batteries and inverters that you're looking to pair. But this is definitely a nice cheat sheet just to give you the heads up before you do that, that you know this is something you can work towards pairing.
Right, so on our tech support and commissioning, we have a 3-year standard warranty, which we support fully in terms of parts that are in there. You can refer to our warranty, which we'll be able to provide you. And obviously, it's extendable to 10 years. We've also got local support from our OEM, and we're able to bring the engineers to site if there is a problem that we cannot fix. Usually we can fix it, really back our tech support team, which is fully capable of replacing parts in those inverters if need be, but very seldom that we need to do that. This is, as I said, it's a very robust inverter. So yeah, we store some spare parts and we're able to repair if need be. For our on-site and remote commissioning, so how it usually works from experience in the field is if it's your first time commissioning this inverter, we usually come to site, we hold your hand through the process, we walk you through it. It's more of it's a training session, and usually it happens for the first 2 or 3 times, and then after that, if you still not comfortable, we can provide remote commissioning or on-site commissioning, and up until you are comfortable to commission the system by yourself. For EMS integration support, there's a whole process of that. When you come to us, we will explain that whole process. We'll come to site and we'll commission. After you've wired it up, we'll commission the EMS. We'll make sure the power meters are talking to each other. Yeah, and make sure all the communication is right, and then we'll set up control. But yeah, we streamline that process so that it's actually more of a smoother process for each and every one of us.
Thanks, Warren. I think the fact that Freedom One is able to support the full turnkey solution makes a big difference, you know, in terms of, you know, streamlining the commissioning process, after sales support. We're not speaking to a single components in isolation, but for the full system, which we understand, which we've designed.
Yeah.
Cool. Then, yeah, it's always great to practice what you preach. So this is a really nice example of our Encore HPS installation here at Freedom One, which of course Warren was a part of. So Warren, can you tell us a little bit more about this this installation?
Yeah, so we put two Encore HPS 500s in parallel. Our load isn't too demanding, so it's below 500, but we've just incorporated it just in case, because our peak loads were a little bit over 500. We've also put two 800 HP plus batteries there. We're actually adding two more to the system, and we're going to be going completely off grid soon, hopefully. And so we have about 34 ABB grid-tied inverters, which provides us with about 1.7 megawatts of solar. So during the day, we're able to charge our batteries and also supply our whole facility with power. And in the evenings, when there's no sun and the solar is not producing as much, not producing, we use our batteries to run it over the night when our facility is not really functional and we don't have anything going on. Usually our batteries are charging for you guys to collect. So yeah.
So that's pretty neat. So the batteries that one procures from Freedom One already come charged with clean energy,
Yeah,
essentially.
fully agreed.
Awesome. No, thank you for that, Warren. Cool. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of our slide deck. If there is more information you would like to find out about the Encore HPS range, all of our spec sheets are listed on our website, as well as our installation manuals, warranty docs, etc. If there's any additional information, of course, please feel free to reach out to Freedom One. We'll be more than happy to help. Yeah, just before I get to the Q&A, just as we conclude, I'd like to just highlight a few of the reasons why one would choose Freedom One. So as we touched on, we are doing everything in-house. So in terms of our engineering, design, and manufacturing, that's all happening here at Longmeadow in Johannesburg. In terms of our after-sales support and engineering support, of course, us being local or in Africa goes a long way in providing efficient and speedy technical support. The ongoing research and development that we're doing. So not only are we looking at what new products can we introduce to the market, but we're also constantly trying to see where can we actually improve our existing product range. A great example of that would be, for instance, the Light 2 range of batteries, where we've now integrated a remote monitoring gateway. In terms of our distribution, we work through an authorized set of distributors. So these are, long-standing, well-established, top of class distributors that we work through. We will have a healthy stock holding of your residential type batteries, etc. Can offer technical support and also sometimes are able to throw in a few extra bells and whistles, whether it be terms, project finance, etc. And then we offer a time and tested product. So something we're very proud of is that we are one of the only brands, if not the only brand in Africa, that has batteries out in the field that are longer or older than our 10-year warranty period. So, when we're saying something or do something, we like to know that we are being as transparent as we possibly can. We're speaking to a solution that's actually been tried and tested out in the field. So yeah, thank you. So with that being said, we're going to open up the comment section for a quick Q&A. So if you've got any questions, please pop it in the comments or the Q&A section. Warren and I will be more than happy to answer it for you. Sorry, Warren, just can you say that again?
Just to answer Peter's question in the Q&A. So yes, the 50 to 150 have internal slots for the MPPTs. So all slots will be available. We'll have to check before we can confirm that, yeah, but all slots would be available. We've started ordering from our OEM, the ones with the full capability for ours. Sometimes few reservations will be phases and encore. Yes. So yes, you will be able to add it on at additionally at a later stage. So you will be able to incorporate your 50 kilowatts for the first phase, and then slot MPPTs, and yeah, you'll just have to maybe probably get your PV combiner, which is compatible with future expansion as well.
And maybe on that note, Warren, if I have, let's say, an HPS 50 with 2 MPPT charge controllers, and I want to get another inverter into that system, set up in parallel, and add some extra MPPT charge controllers, do I need to have the same number of MPPT charge controllers in both inverters? Does it need to be an even value?
So it has to be even, just to charge the batteries. I mean, an even system is and a balanced system is usually what we recommend. Yeah, it just helps with the discharge and charging of those batteries.
Awesome. Well, we're just having a quick look here for any additional questions. So we just got one here from John. So with your internal system, please clarify why you choose an AC coupled approach to the PV rather than a DC coupled approach with MPPTs.
Yeah, so I think I can take that one. So our facility that we moved into basically came with AC coupled PV. That's the only reason why we didn't use any DC coupled PV. It also you're able to use much more AC coupled PV on the system than we have a maximum, I think, of 500 kilowatts per. So it will be 1 megawatt of DC coupled PV that we would be able to that is compatible with the HPS 500 as well. But yeah, definitely because it came with the facility that we currently occupy.
Thanks, Warren. So, I mean, you probably could put it down to one or two things there based on what you said. So, primarily the size of the system. If you need to go up to a certain size, you may need to consider AC coupled. And then also if you're doing a retrofit, which I think is quite something you see quite commonly out in the field, companies and such that have installed PV with third-party PV inverters, but they're looking to just bolt on that battery portion at a later stage.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. If anyone's got any other questions, please pop them through. We're going to give it another minute or two. Yeah, and then we shall conclude the session. So please pop them through if you have any questions. Maybe just while we're waiting for the questions, maybe something cool to chat about on the Encore HPS range is the fact that it's the larger units also come with a built-in transformer, which I believe is not sort of the standard across the board, in the industry.
Yeah, so it reduces your footprint by quite a bit. I mean, for other systems that we have used, usually have to have 2 cabinets, which reduces the amount of space you have in the container and on site. Yeah.
So it's essentially a double win when you're looking at a containerized system, in the sense that you can put the unit nice and flush against the wall. As you mentioned, you've got easy access to the inverter on the front. If you need to access it at the back, we put a door at the back of the container.
Yeah.
But then over and above that, there's also, not this big additional transformer that we need to fit inside that container. So you essentially have you end up with a better energy density in the overall system.
Yeah.
For that footprint, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I see Covey also mentioned that we've got the integrated bypass. That's also an additional component that you'd sometimes require with other systems.
Yeah. So you'll have a separate cabinet for other systems for the bypass. Yeah, I see Peter also asked the question, do you have to add MPPTs to the HPS range, or can they operate as PCS units without the MPPTs? Yes, they can operate as PCS units without MPPTs. Yeah. Yeah, we've done a lot of systems with just AC coupled PV with these units, and they're working perfectly.
Awesome. So, yeah, thank you everyone for your questions and for taking the time to join us here this morning. We hope it was an insightful session. If there's any more information that you'd like to get from us, please feel free to reach out to us. You can pop a mail through to inquiries@freedom1.co.za. And also remember that we've got a lot of resources available on our website, spec sheets, installation manuals, interfacing guides. It's all up there on the Freedom One website. Thank you very much and have a fantastic day.